spend an unlimited amount of money on security, just like you can spend an unlimited amount of money on testing or these types of things. And so the question is, how much is enough? That answer is different for every customer. But I think when we look at what customers need to defend against modern threats, generally they need the ability to get full visibility into their environment, right? So you need to see what's going on, right? I think historically we've had this idea that security could just put some boxes around the perimeter of a particular environment and watch the traffic going in and out, so-called north-south traffic. And the problem with that is that A, there's no perimeter anymore, right? So the IT organization has changed. There's no perimeter to protect. And B, adversaries typically come into organizations these days with valid usernames and passwords, with valid credentials, right? And so when an attacker has performed a spear phishing attack against an organization, has stolen some credentials, and has used those to log into the infrastructure, then your IDS does not help you here. Your firewalls don't help you here. Those types of traditional platforms, AV, web application firewalls, those types of things are not effective against that threat because it's not malware, right? It's not attack software. It's just someone logging into a server. So at that point, you have to be able to do behavioral analytics, which really requires a set of expertise that a lot of customers don't have. So there's an analytical capability, which includes technology, but also includes people. And then there's an expertise-based analyst to be able to look at a set of behavior in an environment and say, yes, this looks like attack traffic, or no, this doesn't, right? And that's based on experience, which a lot of customers have a tough time kind of hiring and including. And it's not enough for an organization to sit back and wait for their tools to tell you that there's an adversary in the environment. Right? We've been doing that for years and it's not really effective. So you need to mount an operation that's capable of going in and looking for adversaries based on tactical and strategic threat intelligence that they have about what's going on in the community and how that impacts your particular organization. And of course, all of this drives your cost up, right? You have to go hire, high-end expertise people with lots of experience, and you need to hire a lot of them because you're not just responding to tickets or responding to alerts. You're actually spending a lot of your time going out and looking, patrolling, for lack of a better term, for the adversaries, right? And then finally, the last thing that we see is we don't want to give up on deterrence, right? A modern security operation is all about detection and response, right? So if you assume that an adversary will get in an environment, which you need to now, right? If an adversary is willing to spend enough time, energy, and money, they will get in, right? So if you assume that they're going to get in, then you need to detect them quickly and remove them from the environment quickly. Right, but at the same time, we don't want to give up on making it hard for them to get into the environment in the first place, right? And so that includes a lot of the block and tackle things that we've always done around, patching and hardening and all these various bits. And so we see, good security operations spending time to enable their engineering and operations counterparts in the business to build secure and deterrent infrastructures. So rather than trying to kind of layer security on after the fact, that they partner with those organizations to give them tools and enable them to go and build those things that they need to go do. It's a long answer, but the last thing I'll tag on to it is that once you've done all that, you still have a complete separate lens of looking at the organizations, which is compliance, right? And so now you have to take all that stuff that you have built, and you need to make sure that that visibility that you have, the deterrence that you've built, is all done in a way that you can use those things to evidence the various compliance obligations that you have, right? The goal of a security operation should be to reduce risk to the business, but it can also go and meet these compliance obligations, at least in part, right? And so I think where we see customers stumble is if you go into building a security operation with the focus of checking boxes in compliance, you will be successful at checking those boxes, but you will not be very successful at reducing risk to the business.